Now, let's talk about how these archetypes and combos go together, right? So, bully boys and archetypes. Here's a couple combos that go with archetypes we spoke about earlier. So, we have War Boss plus Pain Boys plus 20 boys. Enhancement, optional. So, you could bring an enhancement on this unit, but it's not even really suggested. Just pay for what it is right there on the spot. Stratagems for this unit. Now, we talked about how there's not a lot of supporting strats for anything outside of knobs and mega knobs here. This is one of those units that you consider, hey, maybe I'll use grenades so that I can mortal wound somebody. This is a unit that you can spread out all over the battlefield and throw that stuff at people before you go into combat with your actual elite infantry type of unit. So straight, if you're going to use strats, grenades is one. Other core strats can be argued for as well, but that's what I would bring about that. This one's not only good in the Pain Boy archetype, but in really most Bully Boys lists, you can kind of nowadays find a War Boss, 20 boys, and Pain Boys. It's just a really good unit for bullying the mid table, running around and tagging multiple enemy units that are either staged up, transports, vehicles, monsters, people that don't want to fall back, and just start really getting stuck in. So I do recommend that you at least try to take advantage of terrain so you can take cover, sometimes saves the storm bolters and other stupid things. All those little additional things you do to survive do matter when you're playing with 20 units of boys, right? So if you can get cover, get cover and take the 4 up instead of just simply the 5 up. That being said, a lot of the time it comes up to you to understand how do you manipulate a 20-man unit of boys to get the most value out of this unit. So it does require repetition and other supporting units possibly. So then we go into War Boss and Mega Armor with the teleporter as the enhancement that I talked about. You could argue for the 6, but they're already quite expensive. So the stratagems here is simply rapid ingress. A lot of the time, Orc players are not taking advantage of rapid ingress as they should be. We're one of the few armies that doesn't care to do it as much as other people. A lot of other people are like, yeah, I'm always ready to rapid ingress, right? Orc players will make entire lists and not consider rapid ingressing once. Bully Boys at least gives you more of that hindsight to want to do it because ta-da, you have, like what we spoke about earlier, the QRF unit, which is the quick response unit from the Orks. That's what your War Boss and Mega Armor unit is doing. Like we said, we seen earlier, though, teleporter specifically for the War Boss and Mega Armor. So you can't argue for any other units. Therefore, even if you don't like Mega Knobs that much, having just one unit for that reason is very important. I cannot stress this enough. When you're playing Bully Boys, you got to consider you're a little bit slow. You're really pretty elite on units. You don't want to take too much damage if you don't have to. Have a unit that can deep strike, ingress, play the game in that kind of reactionary way is beneficial to you as an Orc player, right? Today's sponsor, Baron of Dice. So Baron of Dice has great dice. They have actually enabled us to give these dice out for our paint competitions. So I greatly advise that you go out there. We have a link in the description for 5% discount. That's, of course, because nobody likes taxes. Shout out to Baron of Dice because they are actually customizing Orc dice just for us that you guys will be able to get a hold of, and they look exceptional. So shout out to Baron of Dice. Really appreciate you guys, and I really do suggest you get them. I love the actual texture these dice have. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Then we have the Beast Boss on foot, 10 Beast Snagger Boys. A lot of the time people wouldn't consider this before. They were going strictly knobs, mega knobs, knobs, mega knobs. Nowadays, you can make an argument for the Beast Boss on foot. He's excellent choice in Warhorde. He's excellent for 80 points. Devastating wounds are awesome. Beast Snagger Boys make that good break point when they get to strength 6. Therefore, they could be argued for a lot of different matchups as well. Plus, you already want the truck to do secondaries for you, for example. The enhancement on here is Ed Stampa. That's where something has to already be hurt, like we talked about, to be diminished to re-roll the ones. You could argue that maybe a truck will help you do that by running in and doing good old-fashioned tank shock, right? Then you have stratagems that you want to consider here. Heroic, going to ground, and more basic stratagems, but you cannot consider grenades because they don't have grenade keyword, just so you know. Next is SWAT teams. So SWAT teams is something that I talk about on Warhorde a lot because it's a truck-centric sort of, detachment. Bully Boys have a lot of trucks too, but they also have a lot of excuses to bring 5-man units of knobs or even, unleaderless units of mega knobs. Therefore, SWAT teams could be argued for. Plus, I'm really in favor of flash gets. So for the example I've given, 2 units inside of one truck. In this case, of course, it's going to be knobs, most likely with the war boss. But like I said, you could argue even just no character with your knobs and mega knobs now, because you can already reroll hits on the wall. You know, but for the most part, flash kits are really, really exceptional right now in Pariah Nexus. A lot of strong armies are even T3. Having those guns is really important. Having the ability to pop lethals and having sustain so you can hurt something. That way, for example, when you're trying to go with Endstopper, you can actually reroll their ones, is really good for you too. So SWAT teams are great for Bully Boys. Last but certainly not least, Maz and Squig. So we talked about the paintball wall earlier. You know, there's an argument that Maz and Squighog Boys are ideal for the pain wall. They give the built-in 5 feel no pain, and they really love having another turn of a 5-up invuln. This is another unit that can actually put out mortal wounds with their bomb squigs. Of course, they're not taking any enhancements. So Squighog Boys can also be brought in as an ingress unit from reserves if you're scared of getting shot off the table too much. And really push up the flank where, you know, something like 10-man unit of knobs or Gaz is threatening the mid table. Maybe your 20-man unit of boys threatening the mid table, holding it up. You could argue that Maz and Squig can come in from the side of the table if you're scared of getting, you know, alpha struck and you already paid for Zagra or Commandos, where you picked up the space and you know you can bring them in. You can start activating these units and have these 2 turns where you're already, I didn't take any damage turn 1 because I came in from the side of the table. Turn 2, I even have a 5-up invuln from the WAAAGH because my Mega Knobs with no leader went off into the side of the battlefield. Now they're fighting when you join their feel no pain. I'm gonna take a bunch of 5-up saves this turn. Next turn I get to actually get in combat, and then another WAAAGH call is fantastic. So really consider Squighog Boys more of this, even though they do the most damage in Warhorde. This at least gets them a bit more because it's a WAAAGH. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!